Well, we've had lessons on all the specific basics of playing the trumpet. Breathing, embouchure, tonguing, technique, and fingering. And now we're going to put all of those together in a lesson with Justin Kaiser, who is here from the Juilliard Lincoln Center Program of Jazz Studies. And we're going to try and put all those together for you and suggest some ways to effectively practice. First of all, Justin, let's tune up. Would you play a nice B flat for me? Okay, that's pretty good. Now, I start with a warm-up. Justin and I generally play long tones, 2 half notes, and a held whole note together. We do this together. Those are very hard to do. The things to think about when you're playing those long tones are A, your breathing, and the tone should be completely steady. The steadier, the better. The next thing we have to think about, of course, is the second layer, the embouchure. Now, when the vibration stops, one of those things, those layers, has gone wrong. And for that instance, when I was playing and my sound cut out at the lower F sharp, I actually allowed my lips to separate. So I went back again and played it, concentrating on keeping my lips together and vibrating. And the third element of this is that tongue. You have to remember that nothing moves when you tongue and isolate the muscle. And it's, believe me, if you try it, it's harder than you think to get them exactly perfect. We're going to go to the Clark book now and play the first study, or I'm going to make Justin do it. Now, the important thing in the Clark book here is work with the metronome, be very precise about your fingering, and remember to crescendo on the way up and decrescendo on the way down. We want to support that sound with our air. Would you start on the first line, please? We'll start you at about 90. Okay, excellent. Did you notice very little movement to Justin's brag? When you do that, the address to the instrument should be straight and not move. There's a slight bit of looking down when you go down and looking up and coming back up when you go up. Okay. I don't think there should be any. I want minimal movement. So let's go to the G and concentrate on finding a spot to look at across the room and maintaining that. Okay. Much improved. Continue. Next. Hard to do. Try it again. Now, to practice this effectively, you should actually drop the metronome a couple of beats, a couple of points, and practice it more slowly. Don't allow those mistakes to pass, because what we're doing here is developing patterns that the body remembers. And if you pay attention to them when you're developing them, you develop them properly. If you let the mistake go by, you're going to develop a mistake. So slow it down a couple of notches when you practice this week.
Okay.
And be very, very specific and careful. Each note should have the same weight and the same quality of sound. But very often when you get down to the bottom, when you come out of those things, the lower note tends to not sound as evenly as the others.
Yeah.
And it may have to do with that little looking up and down that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Let's move on to the second exercise. We're going to do these and remember to tongue the first note of every group of eighth notes.
Okay.
4 eighth notes tongue. All right?
All right.
Here we go. All the same things apply, by the way. Steady breath. Concentrate on bringing the muscles toward the mouthpiece while you support the sound with your air, and then think about your fingers and your tongue. It gets complicated when you put 3 and 4 and 5 layers on top of things. Go ahead. Next one. Very good. Now let's go up and try some of the ones a little higher in the register. Would you take the one in A major, please?
Okay.
Improved from the last time you did it. There's still a little bit of, when you go from the C sharp to the A, there's still a little bit of an extra movement that happens.
Yeah, I feel that.
Well, I'm going to try it and take a look and see if you see any movement happening in here, any big or grand movement. You see anything happening?
No.
Okay, the idea, the principle behind all of this minimal movement is, if I have to make a big movement to go from there, just that little major third, if I have to drop my jaw or readdress the instrument in any way to get that note to come out, what am I going to do when somebody asks me to play? If you got to make smaller movements when the interval is tiny, and that way you don't have to make a big grand movement when you have a larger interval to play. You want to keep most of the movement involved with the lip that is inside the mouthpiece.
Okay.
And again, it involves the support of the breath. And all this, it takes years and years to get this together. Would you play 44 in C major for me, please? very good. But you have to remember that in this all of these exercises are marked pianissimo. It's the natural tendency as you get higher playing these exercises that you want to get louder. It's a natural tendency. But it wasn't what Mr. Clark intended. They're all supposed to be played very softly, like this. All in that one straight address. You need a mirror on the music stand with you. And you need to be aware of addressing the trumpet straight ahead and not changing that address to change tones. Everything has to come from a minimal movement of the lip, and you're working to gradually make the movement more subtle and balance the forces between your air, your embouchure, and your fingers. Well, Justin and I generally end our lesson by playing a duet together. We're going to do one from the Vache book. These are a lot of fun to play. Okay, you got the top. Well, you know, sometimes you don't have to finish them for them to be fun. Go ahead, keep practicing and have a good time with the trumpet.